Hey guys, welcome back to Friday night Vega Stories. That's what we're doing. First, we got to pick up one of these jobbies here. Uh, we made it through another week. Everybody made it to Friday. Yeah, so I got a 45%, I got a 46%, and a 46. Let's go with the 45. Yeah. This one here is by Roe & Co. Irish Whiskey. Yeah. Dublin. Oh, yeah. Blended Irish whiskey. Right on. We're going to crack that right now. Crack whatever you got. There we go. Pour that in. The whole thing. Yep. Well, I got two more. Save those for the next Fridays. Yeah. Tasty. Yeah, I got some stories are scattered a little bit, here and there. There's some early ones and some later ones, but I'm just trying to piece everything together to where eventually we're going to end up where the Vega gets, sold. That'll be in the next episode, though. Let's try this. What are you guys having today? Wow. Delicious. That's good. Real good. I think that's why I haven't got a cold all winter. I never had a, I haven't had a flu or I haven't had a cough or a sniffle. I get a little phlegm sometimes, I get that there, but I haven't had a cold yet. I think it's this, the magic ingredient that keeps away all of the devil's broth. So, update on the IRS. So, if you've seen the last video, we got the brake system on that side and the back over there, driver's side. That's all done. And I did color the tire up. I used the red pen. I did the letters on that tire. That went good, and it feels like I still got ink in it. Like there's a lot of ink left, like in the pen. So I think I'm gonna have enough to do this back one here. But I won't do that one until we do the brakes on this side and cleaning up the caliper and the bracket and the rotor and painting them. Maybe might start tearing that apart probably tomorrow. I'll probably tear that apart tomorrow and get into that. So yeah, let's see. Let's dig into it here. Let's see what we got. Where are we going to start tonight? I got some notes in here where to start. I still got my pickle shirt on there. I was beating the ball around a bit there today. They gave me a free T-shirt there. It's part of going to the pickleball games there. Fits good too. Let's see. What do we got here now? I'm getting on to, it says start here, flashback. Okay, okay, I know what this is. Okay, so as you know, I bought the Vega in December of 75, and then it basically sat in the backyard January, February. I don't think I got my license to mid-March because I failed the first time. Remember the story? I was driving too close to the center line and the old bugger failed me. So I had to redo it. The written one I passed right off the get-go, but it was a driving one I had to redo, and I think it was either the first week in March, second week in March I passed. So I was using the Vega and as you know, different things, squealing around in the Shannon Park parking lot, dumping the transmission in the first gear after revving it up in neutral and spitting all the gears out at the bus stop there. by the old bridge, stuff like that. But I think it was around May. It was really, the weather was starting to get real nice, and I was in the house, and it was like a Saturday, I think it was, and the front of the driveway was clear, and I think Dad was parking in between the two houses, and I was in the backyard, and I just happened to be looking out there, and in comes this car, and I thought, who the hell is this? Who's coming in the driveway? Right? He's driving this. He's driving 1970. I think it was a 76. So it probably would have came out in 70, late 75. I think that's how they did it. And this was a 76. He comes in the driveway in this thing. Corvette. what a what a nice looking car. This isn't the exact one, of course, but it's the best I could do for the picture. Didn't want to shrink for me. But anyway, that's an orange Corvette. So I go out, and the guy goes, "Hey, I forgot to give you something for the Vega." So it's the young Navy dude, and he says, "I forgot to give you something." I said, "Yeah." And he gets in, reaches inside there in the back, and pulls out this. He's got it all sort of rolled up, and it's sort of like canvasy. It looks kind of a canvasy thing. And he goes, "It's the tent for the Vega." I said, "What?" "Yeah, it's a tent. So when you put the hatch back up," he said, "this whole tarpaulin thing goes over the top in the front of where the hatch is, comes down, covers the sides, and goes around to the back and has a zipper like that where you can go into the Vega, into the hatch." He said, "I used to put 2 air mattresses and we sleep on those," he said. "And if we're at a campground." So we slept right in the Vega, he said. I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. So he gave me that, and I think I might have used it once or twice. I went to a park or something. I can't remember. Uh, I can't remember the details, but I think I did use it. But I thought that was cool. Anyway, he gave me that, and geez, wasn't he driving that Corvette? Man, that's some sweet, that Corvette. Okay, this next one. So, as you know, like in the 2000s, I don't know, might have been in before that. The guys around here would have Honda cars, and they built the big old fart can mufflers with the big tailpipes like that, right? Well, they didn't invent that. We were doing that in the 70s, and that's the first mod I did to the Vega, with the 4 cylinder in it. The first mod I did was to put on. I don't have the whole picture of it. Like, again, it wouldn't shrink down for me, but it's about 2 feet long, and it was one of these. And they sold them at Canadian Tire. Thrush muffler. And I think there was just a couple little tiny baffles in it. And that thing was just noisy as all hell. It was letting the whole sound of that little four banger, the 2.3 liter, 140 cubic inch engine, just blast out. And what would happen sometimes in the afternoon, around 3 o'clock, I guess, my sister-in-law, she'd be getting off the duty boat coming from Halifax, and she'd get on the bus and take, take the ride on the bus up to her apartment up by Grey Rink, Farthington. They lived on that street. But I would have to pick up their daughter, Kelly. I picked Kelly up at the daycare, and the daycare was, so if you're looking at, you're on Windmill Road, and you're looking at St. Paul's Parish, the church, right there. And if you look just to the left, sort of like across the street, if you came out the side of St. Paul's, there's a big building there. Now, I don't know what they use it for now, but part of it was a daycare back in the day. Oh, that's good. So I'd have to go in there and pick up Kelly, and she was probably only, I say she was probably 4 years old, maybe maybe getting close to 5. I don't know. Anyway, I'd have to drive her home in the Vega, and didn't she cry from the moment she got in the car to the moment I dropped her off because she didn't like the sound of that car. She did. She hated it. Poor little kid, crying the whole way because the thing's just farting and sputtering and making all kinds of noises. She didn't like that. So anyway, but I got her home safely every time. I only did it maybe probably once or twice a month or something like that. It wasn't very often, but when they needed me to, I would pick her up and drive her home. She cried all the way. Okay, we got that. We did that. Okay, let's get into. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just go in the order. I got it here. So, good buddy there, Chris Smith. I used to call him Chris Smooth. Some other guys call him Chris Smooth. Anyway, he would ride with me into Vegas sometimes, We go ripping around, and he would always come with a mixed cassette tape, like all the best damn songs that were out there. And where did he get them from? Got them from his brother, Alistair. And Alistair had the most wicked record collection. He probably still does. And I think that's where Chris got most of the recordings. And he'd take a song here, a song there, a song here, and he'd just fill the whole cassette up, right? Both sides. And it was just a rocking, rocking cassette to drive to, right? So that was awesome. Chris always came through with that because Alistair had the records. He had all the stuff. I remember one time sitting, this is funny, sitting in their living room, and Chris and Alistair said, "Hey, you got to listen to this song. It's about cars and everything like that, right?" I said, "Ah, cool." And so they played it. They started to play it, and guess what song it was? "Born to Run." I'm sure it was "Born to Run," and I thought it was cool, a cool song. But then I was thinking about the part where when Bruce sang, "We ride through mansions of glory in suicide machines," and I'm thinking, mine's not a suicide machine. I could get killed in it, but it's not a suicide machine. But and so and I don't know. I kind of put that song out of my mind for a while, right? But now it's my favorite song. But so I think actually in the song it's sort of like a compliment to the guys that got all these hopped up, souped up cars. Is that they're so damn powerful, and they can get away on you. And if you're not, if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're inexperienced, you could you could lose your life in one of those hopped up cars. So anyway, I thought that was pretty neat. I remembered that. Um, what else we got here? Texaco. Couple Texaco stories. Good old boss Gary Monette. He always had the cool stuff. He had an old, what was it? Old green Dodge. I think it was Dodge pickup truck. I think it was like a 63, or it was old, but he used that as like the shop truck, got to go up and get some coffee, or got to plow the lot out or something like that. He had that. He had a Dodge Tradesman, like a cool camper type van. Um, I think he rode a Goldwing too. I remember him coming in on a bike. I thought it was a Goldwing or something. Yeah, he knew how to do everything, mechanical, everything. Painting cars. He painted the Volkswagen I bought from him. He painted that orange, and I think he painted the Vega. I'm pretty sure he painted that candy apple red, my first paint job. Possibly the vermilion one too. So maybe the Short brothers, they only did the black. I'm thinking now, if memory serves me correct. Um, but anyway, one day, a nice summer day, and I got to Vega there in the morning. When I'm pumping gas and stuff like that. Getting near lunch, and Gary says, "Ronnie, go fill up your Vega. It's on the house." I said, "What?" "Yeah, go fill your Vega up." He must have got a bonus or something. He said, "After lunch," he said, "bring your Volkswagen down, bring VW down, the bug," and he said, "gas that up too. That's on the house too." I said, "Wow, man." So I remember the exact prices too, what it cost. They were both kind of empty, and the Vega took $9. Um, $9, so it was getting on, like, I would say 90 cents a gallon, 95 cents a gallon, something like that. So Vega took 9, and then when I brought the Volkswagen down after lunch, it took $7. So yeah, you just let me have free gas there. That was a bonus, because I think I was only making, what the hell was I making? I think it was maybe, I thought I was in raking in the dough. I was making like 280 an hour. See, at the Capital Stores, when I left them, shit, I was only making $1.25 or something like that. I think that was my top wage there, right? So that 280, yeah, I had lots of money to spend, but my dad always said, "Ronnie, what are you doing? Putting all that money into that old car?" Well, that's what us gearheads do. We just do that stuff. We just do the can't can't explain it. It's in the blood. It's in the blood. Uh, let's see where are we at. We did that. We did that. Gassed up. Okay. Let's see if I'm getting this right here. Yeah, I had a guy in Texaco. I had a guy come in, and he goes, he's got this big car, man, big long stretch car. I don't know what it was. And he goes, "Hey man, can you check my oil and my transmission and my power steering and my brake fluid and what?" And he said, "My red and my windshield. Fuck it." He said, "Check everything." I had to check every fucking thing under that hood. Then he had to drag it over to the pumps. I had to air all his tires up. We just provided that service at Texaco. We would check everything for you and air up your tires too. And that's what we did. That's why we always had return customers. He said, "Fuck it, check everything." So let's see. What are we doing here now? So, oh yeah, I'd be in there working on the Volkswagen and stuff like that. But Chris was gonna have some fries or something like that, right? I was at his house working on the Volkswagen. He'd be helping me with it too, and we go up. "Let's go have some fries," he says. We go upstairs to the kitchen. He's got the old deep fat fryer just bubbling, bubbling hot, and he used to take the whole damn bag of French fries, rip it open, whole bag of French fries, put it right in the basket, right? But before he did that, he'd always just go, he'd spit into the he'd spit into the hot burning fat just to see if it sizzled off. He goes, "Yeah, it's ready." He did. I don't think he went by any light or anything. He just knew it was ready. I thought, "Hey man, you don't have to do that." And he just sizzle the fries up, man. They'd be done in no time. We'd be eating fries. That's old Chris Smooth. That's what he did. Let's see. Well, I got to go get a Guinness, people. This is getting down. It's almost empty. You going to get your drink now? I hope so. You got to. You got to get your drink. There's time. Lots of time. I'm not going to rush to the fridge. I do have Dad's mug in there, and I got lots of Guinness. I wish I had more Guinness. I would still drink it. Oh, oh my God. I think I sucked in some fumes there. Okay, let me get that Guinness. Crack it open. Oh, I'm going to use this too. These here coasters Bruce printed off for me. I think I might have showed you these last time. I'm going to use that. Let's see what we got. We have a nice cold mug, and we have a Guinness right here. Yeah, we do. There we go. Oh, there we go. I don't want to fall, but I want to check this machine. Yeah, she's still recording. I don't trust it since the last time. One time she shut off on me. I don't trust the damn thing now. Let's just dunk her in, people. Here we go. Just like this. That's how you do it. Shotgun it right into the glass. It's a good glass, good mug, because you can hold a can, no problem. No problem at all. They say the price of this is supposed to rise a little bit. This is 440 mils. Yeah, it's supposed to rise because the costs there at the St. James Gate over in Dublin, making Guinness, some of the costs have risen, and I don't think it's not that they're not selling any; they're definitely selling lots. But let's try this one. Cheers, people. Ah, yes, we're that much closer to spring. What are we? Pretty close. Another week and a bit in February, and short month, and then just burn March away, and then we're into April. And by the looks of it, the forecast says April will be mostly 10s, 11s, maybe get a few 12s. That'll feel like summer to me. Uh, you know, let's see what we got here now. We got more stuff here. Yeah, we got. Yeah, I'd be in the garage and Christmas garage there, and the family garage, and I'd be most nights I was there. I was there almost every night. One winter, fall and winter there. Yeah, um, of 80. That would have been late 80 into, yeah, yeah, 80, 80, 81 would have been. Yes, yes, yeah, that's right. So I'd get friends come by, like Pat. Pat would come by, have a cute little girl with him. Wasn't his girlfriend, but cute girl. And I should have probably went to these parties. I got offered many times. Like, you want to come to the party with us? You take a break working on that car? And I said, no, I got to get this bug done, man. I got to keep going. I would just drive myself right to the end. And I was so damn tired I could barely walk home, which was only down the street, right? So anyway, that's the choice I made, but whatever. Let's see. Oh yeah. So Chris was at the point where he had a few bucks saved up and he wanted to get a car. Yeah, he wanted to get a car, and he's looking through the paper and all that. He found one in Halifax. It was off Connaught Road there. I remember that. We went and looked at it. It was a '66 Ford Custom, four door, sort of a light blue. Light blue. I think it. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think it had a 289 in it. I'm sure it had a 289. I don't think it was a straight six. It's a 289. It's a good, solid old car. I mean, shit, he only paid, I think it was like 250 bucks for it. But that's fair coin back then. But so he got a running car for 250 bucks. Went and got that. But on those cars, um, they only had a single pot master cylinder. And you guys know what that means anyway, because all cars now, since probably, I don't know, the 70s, I guess, were the regulations, the mandatory regulation was it had to be dual master cylinder. So one portion of the master cylinder looked after the front brakes. It was usually it's kind of like reverse, but it was usually the rear reservoir was for the front brakes because it held more fluid, and the front portion of it was for the back brakes. Now, in the old days, on like Chris's car here, the '66 Ford, it was a single pot. It was just sort of round like that. It had a round screw cover, and all your fluid held right there. So you were feeding fluid to all four. So if you had a line go bad, boom, you had no fucking brakes, man. You were screwed, chewed, and barbecued. And didn't it happen one night? There was 5 of us in the car. I would have been up front shotgun, but I wasn't. That night, I was in the back seat behind the passenger, and there was 2 other dudes beside me. I can't remember who they were. It was Chris was driving, and another guy up front. I don't think Pat was there that night. Anyway, I don't know where we were headed, but we went down Pine Street. If you know, Pine Street runs adjacent with Maple Street. You know, Maple Street is really steep coming off Thistle. And then you got a little farther in, you got Pine Street, right? So we're going down Pine Street. I think it's like 9:30 at night. It's dark. It's a nice summer night. We just get over the crest, and Chris goes, "Ronnie, you got no brakes. They're to the floor." Oh shit! He goes, "What I do? Hit a lamp pole?" I said, "No, man, don't hit a lamp pole, man. Just put it in reverse. It'll act like a brake. Better to do that," I said. So I said, once it slows down enough, when it gets down on the bit of the level, we'll all jump out and we'll grab the side of the car handles. Where I said, in the front fender, we'll slow it down. We'll slow the car down, and that's what we did. It slowed it down just enough. We got down to where it started to level off, and we were still doing maybe 15 miles an hour, maybe 20. But didn't we all jump out and we were just hanging on to this beast? And we were, I don't know if his emergency brake didn't work or something. We didn't try that. But we slowed that thing down. We got her stopped because that could have been a disaster, right? But we got through that one. Yeah, we got through that one. I don't even think it messed his transmission up. We just had to get a line replaced, and the old Ford was back on the road again. Because the transmissions were a little more forgiving in those days. I don't know if you could do that to a modern one, but a little more forgiving. Yep. Where are we at now? Yeah, there we did that one. Oh yeah, cool. Let's go to welding up the bug. Let's do that one before I get into this other one here. So one night we're down there and we're welding, brazing. Actually, we're brazing. We got brazing rods, and I'm brazing the 2 pieces that I cut a section out of the pillar, and I got the whole roof is shortened, and I'm brazing with this cheap ass welder, just a real weird setup, and I'm brazing the 2 metals together with the looks like copper, the brazing rod, and didn't the insulation inside the bug cut fire, and inside the matting inside the back side, and it just fucking flames were coming all over. And Chris ran inside and grabbed a fucking blanket. He was good thinking, man. He was right on the money. He took the blanket and smothered the fire because it was just the whole garage just full of smoke, man. it was a it was a scary thing to happen because, well, luckily the gas tank on a bug is up front, right? It's not in the back. So if it was in the back, who knows what could have happened? It could have blew up. So, but this welder was a cheap ass welder. Here's what it was. It was picture this. You got a propane bottle. You know what they look like, propane bottle. Okay. And you got this hose that connects to that hose, and you got a little, point thing there with a little hole in it, right there, like that. And you got the other hose goes to a empty container, a round cylinder that pops, a rubber boot pops off it. But you buy these oxygen cubes. These are the weirdest fucking things. They're about that long. They're white on the end, and you got to use I think it was a sparker or something like that. I think that's how it is. Spark, 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 sparker. And you spark the end and it starts going. It starts like a firecracker. You got to throw it into throw it into the cylinder thing. Jam the fucking plunger of rubber seal over it like that. And what happens is that oxygen mixes with the propane and gives you a higher temperature than just propane. You can't weld with propane, and it just gives you a burning and you set up you adjust the flame on the propane side, and you get that sharp little blue flame, and that's just enough to braise the metals together. And the thing only lasted 2 minutes, man. I don't know how many of those packs of sticks I went to. I went to Consumers Distributing in Micmac, and I must have bought them out of that shit because I was buying those all the time just to weld that bug up. It was just a piece of crap. That was called the poor man's welder. That's what that was. I didn't have the money to buy a real welder. That was just a cheap ass thing. Anyway, got it done though. Probably spent about $300 in oxygen cubes to get her done, right? What else we got here? Yeah, so up to this point, being the Pontiac got smashed and fucking rode off, I thought it's be a good idea. Why don't I just rip that 350 out of there? Because that motor was, I wouldn't say it was super powerful, but it had potential. You could make it powerful with a hot cam and a good carburetor, right? And a set of headers and stuff. So I said, why don't we take that out of there, and I'll just have that on the side. Maybe I'll rebuild that for the Vega, because the Vega's engine, the 283, was starting to get tired, right? And I ran that thing. I was constantly driving that. So me and Chris, we went up by Micmac Mall up in the woods there. There was a lot of woods up there at that time. And we cut down 3 big, well, trees that were like that big around. And they were tall, real tall. So we wanted 3 to make like a teepee, right? And then we put like a come along ratchet thing like that. So if you put those 3 like that, that's the old way to take engines out. And you have a chain on it, and you have a chain on your block, your engine block. You have your hook in there. You could do the come along like that, lift the engine right out of there, and that's what we did. We did it to the Pontiac, and then we took the engine out of the Vega too, because I might as well take it out because I'm not going to use the 283 anymore. I'm going to put the 350 in it. So both engines were out. Scrap dealer came and took the Pontiac away because the back end was all written off. And so I had the 350 block downstairs, and I think I had the 283 block under a tarp in the backyard because I really didn't care about that anymore. I was going to build up the 350. So, yeah. And that's basically how it sat until after I got out of basic training. Yeah, in 82. In the summer '82, it was sitting in the backyard. You could see pictures of it. It's like the front end's raised up because there's no motor in it, and that's the way the guy bought it. He bought it without the motor. I think I gave him the 350 anyway for it, and the old carburetor off the Vega one. So yeah, that's how that went. So because I was busy doing the bug and everything, that was my project then. So I wanted to get that chopped down. Yeah, so where we did the welder. Yeah, let's see what time. Okay. Um, Yeah, Chris had a neat little trick. He'd come over sometimes and whatever. Have you ever felt I was getting depressed or anything like that? You know what he'd do? Chris would do this. He would do that. He goes, "Now you feel better." I said, "You're right, I do. I do feel better." That was Chris's trick to make you feel better. He was a good friend. He was a good friend. He's not with us now, but you know, we'll all meet again anyway. Doesn't matter, right? It's just that each of us have different times, different lengths of time here, and we're all going. It's just a matter of when. So, yeah. So let's have a look here. What else? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. So like I say, me and Chris, he'd come and be my ride shotgun with me in the Vegas sometimes. But sometimes we thought, man, I don't have to go out riding every night. So my brother Chris would want us to go over there, and so me and Chris would go over and see Chris and play crib, cards, crib, and I'd have a few beers or something there, and I always liked it when Chris Smith came over with me. I was sitting there, and my brother goes, "What do you got tonight, Chris?" Chris would take out his export A pack, of cigarettes, flip open the top like that, and he'd push up on the bottom of and it was just full of joints. My brother's eyes would just go, "Whoa, okay." So they'd be smoking the doobies. I'd have a few puffs here and there, but I was more into the beer. But yeah, they got pretty stoned. We were playing the old 15-1, 15-2, and 2 for 30 and all this stuff, the crib. Yeah, we did that many nights. Mostly Saturday nights, I think it was. We go over there on Saturdays. Yeah, we had a blast. We had a blast. Let's see. What else? Am I missing anything? I don't know how long I've been going. I must have been going 45 minutes already. Let me just look back through this stuff. See if I can think of anything else. Yeah. Yeah. So what will happen? We'll probably get into there's a couple bug stories about the bug. Really good one. I'll probably start with that next Friday. Um, I worked on it. I think I worked on it September, October, November. I think right through until the following spring. I think I worked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It wasn't until the good weather, half decent weather came that I took it out. Pretty sure. So I think we covered everything, guys. I'm not sure. But there could be more. Yeah, could be more. So what else on the old RS? What else? Oh, I can show you what the old bug looked like. Yeah, if you haven't seen a picture of it. So here, this picture here, it's after it's chopped. Let me turn the light on. You probably can't see very good. Make sure this thing's still cooking. Yeah. So this one, I don't know if you can see it, but that's me in the doorway there. Chris Smith is up in the tree. I asked him to get an aerial shot of it. So he climbed the tree for me and snapped that picture, which is pretty sharp. Yeah. And then I'm sitting in it here, and he took one shot there. Yeah. And here's another one, kind of blurry, but he took one of me there. I'm sitting in the car there. It's squished right down. Yeah. The plan for this car was I seen a car like this done in California, and it was all yellow. So my plan was, if I had kept it, it's going to be all like a bright yellow, and on the side of it was the words going to be. It was going to say hammered, just like the one down in California. I was going to do that. That was the plan for the old girl, but I never got that far on it. So basically, that's just in primer there, right? So that would have been cool if I had got that far on it, but I didn't. Um, yeah, it handled well when it was chopped down like that. There wasn't another one in Dartmouth like it, I can tell you that much. It was the only one around. Yeah. So it was good hanging out with you guys again on a Friday night. Um, like I say, next week we'll get into a couple stories about the old '68 VW Bug, and then we'll talk about the sale of the Vega and what kind of took place there, and then we'll just carry on. We'll move on to other cars. You know, we can once we wrap up the Bug, we can go on to the TR6. I had that from 1983 until 1992. Now I didn't drive it much uh, when I brought it back to Dartmouth in 1990. It basically sat in the garage, and I was tearing it down. I didn't drive it much in Borden from 1989, 90. I didn't drive it much there either. But I drove it a lot before that. I put a lot of miles on it, back and forth across you know, from Ontario to Dartmouth and back 2 times at least, maybe three. Three if you include me, yeah, driving it back from a engine rebuild. But yeah, we'll get into those next Friday. So thanks for coming, guys. Drink your drink and enjoy the weekend. Yeah, I'll be going to another muscle car meet tomorrow with Bruce, and we'll just be talking about cars and bikes, horsepower, and all the good stuff. So yeah, but until then, guys, like always, I like each and every one of you to stay safe out there. You know what I mean. Thunder Road.